Perfect. So just wanted to say welcome and a massive thank you to Simran from Scrubs for being a kind of partner within this conversation. Um, and this is a partnership between ourselves at Scrubs and Day 7, which is our new AI agency. So just to kind of talk to you a little bit about myself and kind of where this has come from. So I'm Kasim, the owner of and Day 7, as well as another agency which does marketing called Unscripted Digital. And what we've been doing over the last 5 years is that we've been working with dental practice owners and aesthetic owners to create content for their practice, as well as do their adverts over Google and the Meta Suite as well. So that's over Facebook and Instagram. And obviously, with the evolve world of AI, we've naturally kind of just seen what struggles that dental practices and aesthetic clinics and other healthcare industries are currently having at the moment. So over the last, just probably over a year or so, we've been kind of deep diving and really understanding AI for this industry and then potentially what's possible. So over this call, what we're going to be doing is talking about a few things. Firstly, is going to be an AI receptionist, what that actually does and what it means and how it can help you. Um, we're also going to be looking at automations as well. So, how can automations potentially help you reduce down the amount of repetitive tasks that you have, freeing up the time to be able to do more things such as patient-facing roles, and also just getting rid of some of the mundane tasks that we do on a day-to-day basis. One of the other things that we're going to be talking about is custom AI tools. And what I mean by that is websites that can integrate AI tools within there, or if you wanted to develop something like a custom bespoke tool for your own business. And then finally, we're going to be talking about learning LLM searches. So that basically means how to actually get found over things such as ChatGPT and other search engines as well over the large language models. Um, so, just on the call, has anyone had a play around or had any experience talking to an AI receptionist before? Can take silence as a potential no. Um, so, what AI receptionists can do is they are there to handle calls, which typically are done by a normal receptionist. Um, an AI receptionist isn't just a voice call. So yes, you can call it and you can engage um, with their voice, which sounds very human-like. Um, but what's more important is what it actually does afterwards. So with AI receptionists, they can instantly book in a booking. So somebody calls in and says they want an Invisalign appointment, for example. They can look through your CRM system. Alternatively, if you have no CRM, if you're using a calendar or a kind of Excel spreadsheet, it can actually look through that information and see what's available when. So it'll say like this person's available during this time, this person's not available during this time. And if somebody wants to do something like move an appointment, so I can't make this appointment, they want to make another appointment, it will look at the diaries and basically move them appointments around. The best cases that we've seen so far is handling evening calls. So as soon as your staff leave. So if you don't want to have that kind of confidence to fully trust this straight away, that's completely fine. So some of the practices that we've been working with so far have actually been looking and using this after hours. So where there are some other kind of chatbot functions, them chatbot functions don't actually handle calls over a phone. And if you've got somebody who's looking for like an emergency appointment, for example, this is something that can actually handle that call and get them booked in as soon as possible when the next available spot is. Um, it does smart handling as well. So using natural language, the AI understands questions, it collects details, it can professionally handle the calls, it can give information. If you have something like an open day as well, it can talk about that open day and get people to book in. And basically, after the call is done, after every single call, it can actually trigger off things like reminders, confirmations, and follow-up messages as well. So freeing up the time you have into looking at actual patient care as well, and kind of going from there. If you are looking to kind of have this manage your complete receptionist roles, handling phones, for example, obviously this is a cost-effective way, and it's time effective. So GP surgeries, for example, first thing on a Monday morning, they get queues of um, calls in the morning for people wanting to book in. The good thing about this, it can actually handle up to around about 7 calls at any one time. And it can also handle calls in different languages. And it can also, over the chatbot, which we'll show you in a demo in a moment, is it can actually, you can talk to it in your own language, and it can respond back within English or within the language that you speak in. So this is kind of where we are at the moment as well with AI receptionists. We are integrating these with CRMs at the moment, such as Dentally. We're kind of playing around with other CRMs as well, such as Boxley and kind of the suite of CRMs that are out there. As long as there's an API availability, it basically allows us to connect directly to your booking systems. Does anyone have?
So, Cuisine, can I ask a question? Do we ask questions as we go along, or at the
Yeah,
end?
I was just about to ask then. Any questions?
Yeah. So my question is this: let's talk about the mechanics of how this AI machinery works. So a patient or potential patient would call
Yep.
a number.
Yep.
AI would answer in whatever language we decide. Let's just presume it's English.
Sure.
So, and based upon what the patient says, AI will be able to respond effectively and then schedule the appointment.
Yes. So basically that, and that will just demo. So I'm just clicking out the screen just to make sure no one
No
else is
problem.
trying to join the call whilst I was just doing that. So yeah, so exactly that. So it will handle the call. So there's a different ways it can actually manage it, and this is where Sil can kind of explain that, because it'll make a lot more sense when we go through the demo.
Mm.
But actively, it acts like a normal receptionist would. It will book calls. It will
Mm.
cancel calls. Sorry, not calls. Cancel appointments. It will reschedule if needed, and it'll kind of work through your systems in order to manage that. And if you haven't got a CRM, because we're very aware that not every practice has, we can manage like workflow systems in order to support that. So if it's a calendar that some people might use over like Google Sheets, for example, we can manage it with that. It actually is a lot more simple for us to do that than it is to actually integrate with a CRM. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So the second part of the question is most patients calling in would
Mm-hmm.
have questions about treatment
Yep.
before they actually schedule the appointments. For example, if it's a new patient, do you do crowns or whatever? You see what I
Sure.
mean? So is that something that we can build into the program
Yeah.
in terms of building systems so it knows what to say?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
I
basically
thought so.
scrape the information from your website first, just so
Mm,
we manage pricing correctly. As long as obviously your website is up to date, but as long as the
mm,
information on there, we can scrape that first. Then we can build and extend on that. So for us to kind of build a full receptionist, it does take a little bit of time. It takes around about 4 to 6 weeks just for us to perfect it. We've actually got like a templated system that we currently work from, just to kind of, because we've built it, so we can kind of implement that. But to make it more personalized to your own business, and if it's not a dental practice, healthcare, or whichever,
mm.
we can make it more catered to your business. So it knows how to handle it in respect of queries. So if it's like you don't do implants, for example, that's something that you could basically say that you don't do, and the AI receptionist will be able to take information that we feed it and read from there, and then it's smart enough to be able to recognize what it can and can't not offer. Um, and even when pricing, for example, so if you do have an offer at the moment and you change the pricing, and we can adjust that on the platform. And we also give training, so you can do it afterwards yourself. But you can manage that. So you can, if you want to do an offer, for example, you can change the offer and pricing, and then the receptionist will be aware of that, and then you can handle them calls.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then Sylvester is going to demo his own screen. So he's going to do the demo, and then on the demo, you'll see there's a couple of integrations that you can actually do. So an AI receptionist doesn't just stop at a phone call receptionist. It's kind of a bit like other chatbot systems. It integrates with all platforms, so you can integrate it and chat to it via text message, WhatsApp, on the website via a chatbot, on alternatively on the phone as well. But it all connects into one system and it gives you one back response. So Sylvester is just going to show that now.
Okay, so what I've got here is just a bit of a test page where we would show how we integrate this bot onto the site. So let's say this is your website. We've got a bit of information on the AI itself. So this is one we've created for unscripted digital. So it's a dental focused one. Here's the personality, it's key responsibilities, incoming call handling, the diary organization, practice and treatment information, which Cass mentioned is trained on your business. So it's not just generic, it can be catered however you want. And then it will handle the patient inquiries. So things like if you want Invisalign, but maybe you need a hygienist appointment first, it understands that you need the hygienist first, but it'll note it that you can get Invisalign after, for example. So you can call it and text it, which I'll do in a minute over my phone, but we have other integrations like this. So this is the standard chatbot. And then we have another variation as well, which is the caller bot on a website. So you can call it from your desktop or your mobile on the website as well. So I'm just going to quickly call this from my phone and you'll be able to hear how it works. So I'm going to be contacting Mia at Unscripted Dental.
Thank you for calling Unscripted Dental. This is Mia. How may I help you today?
Hi Mia, I'm just looking to book an appointment.
I'd be happy to help you with booking an appointment. Let me take a few details so we can find the right appointment. Could I start with your full name, please?
Yes, my full name is Sylvester Crabtree.
Phone number and email address, please.
Phone number is 077 9404 3296. And my email address is sylvester.crabtree@gmail.com.
Everything is correct. Please let me know and I'll amend those details. Now, could you let me know the reason for your appointment?
Yeah, so I'm wanting an Invisalign appointment, but I'm a little bit concerned if it might hurt my teeth.
Thank you for letting me know, Sylvester. While some patients experience mild discomfort during the adjustment period, it's typically temporary and manageable. Our dentist will ensure you're comfortable and guide you through the process. Let me check our schedule for available slots for your Invisalign appointment. Just a moment, please. I've checked our schedule, Sylvester, and here are 3 available slots for your Invisalign appointment. 1. Tomorrow, October 24, 2025 at 2 p.m. 2. Monday, October 27, 2025 at 11 a.m. 3. Monday, October 27, 2025, 3 p.m. Do any of these times work for you?
Yeah, tomorrow at 10 a.m. works perfect.
Your appointment has been successfully booked for tomorrow, October 24, 2025 at 10 a.m. It will be an Invisalign consultation. If you have any questions or need to reschedule, feel free to reach out. We look forward to seeing you at our clinic. Have a lovely day, Sylvester.
Thank you very much. Nice speaking to you. Bye-bye.
You're very welcome, Sylvester. It was lovely speaking to you too. Take care and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that is successfully booked in. I managed to get some information on Invisalign. And then also, if you can see here, it did book me in the appointment, and I've got the confirmation email as well. So then after that, that would go into your internal systems, and then you could log it inside things like Dentally or Boxy, Pipedrive, or Google Sheet, as mentioned before. So that AI is trained off of dentists, and it's trained off of your website, so you can put all that data, and then it acts in a certain way and gives you an output like booking an appointment. So that same AI, since it's trained, it can then be adjusted for a chatbot. So I can come in here and say, hey, I'd like to book an appointment. And it's exactly the same personality as this one. So there is absolute consistency across how people interact with the agent. So again, it asks for the same details. So I can just come in here as well, and instead of ask for an appointment, I'd say I'd like to know about dental implants. So if I want to know a bit more about dental implants, you can print me some information here. So it'll give you a bit of information about, it's a popular, effective solution for missing teeth. And then it'll give you a bit of information how it's actually done. And then it'll mention the consultation for the suitability for implants. So we know that's quite important, is we don't just want it to allow people to book straight in for certain appointments where they need a prior consultation. And then they'll mention the cost in here, and they'll also clarify it's depending on the complexity. So you can go ahead and book online here as well if you didn't want to use the phone. And then, as mentioned before, this works exactly the same way. So if you would start a chat here, it would just be the same as on the phone. So it's really quite good, and it's very consistent across all the various platforms that you use. As well as that, if you didn't want to call it or use this chatbot, you can just save the number and text it on your phone as well. And it works exactly the same way as this on your phone, just through text. It also works with WhatsApp or any other messaging platform you might be using to book patients in. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Hopefully it's shown like the evidence that it's kind of multi-platform. And I think as well, just like there's certain aspects of here as well. So say, for example, we've got like the price starts with 1,200 on that chatbot. If you don't want it to say pricing, you don't have to have it to say anything. So we can adjust the scripts of what it can and can't say, just to make sure that it kind of caters to your kind of business needs and kind of keeps consistent with what everybody will be doing, kind of that workflow afterwards. Perfect. If there's no more questions about AI Receptionist, we can move on to the next section. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen again. Just give me 2 seconds, and then we're going to be talking about AI automation. So has anyone on the call, Sharon, I've seen that you've joined as well, but is there anybody on the call heard about what can be automated and kind of what is surrounded around AI automations?
No, that's my position.
No worries. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now. So just give me 2 seconds. Let me just share this again. Can you see my screen again? I don't actually know if I pressed that button correctly.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Give me 2 seconds again. So AI automations. So there's so many versions of what you can do and can't do with automations right now. And in fairness, anything that can be done on a computer can be automated if it was like a repetitive task. So this could be done for not just dental work. It can be done for like social media management as well. So as I said earlier in the call, we manage social media pages for dental practices and aesthetic clinics as well. So you can build automations. So you can basically say, for example, you've got a piece of long form content and you want it to distribute over Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and everything else. You could build a workflow that basically takes the first piece of content and then distributes it over all platforms and write captions for you based on the initial subject or content that you've given it. So that's just one example of a workflow. With workflows then, so basically what they do is that they kind of look at automated tasks. So so I'll give some examples of kind of the top 10 within the dental space in a second, but ultimately it can do things like automate appointments, reminders, follow-ups. If you've got a list of previous patients or leads that you've had before, you could potentially take that lead list, as long as obviously it's GDPR compliant and we've got permission to do so. we can take that lead list and start contacting them leads as well through automation. So you might have got a lot of missed opportunities of people that you just weren't able to book in because of certain times. So you can basically take that data and then we can build workflows around that. So we can start looking to offer some like discounts, for example, or tell them of an open day or whatever the case may be. And what it can do is that it can look into doing different types of things. So I've got a list here, so I'll kind of read a couple of examples out. So it might put a bit more kind of context to it. So we've looked at like appointment reminders. So it can automatically email and send SMS to reduce down no-shows. So you could do like reminders when you've got a booked appointment. So the day before, for example. You could do things like aftercare and reviews, because this is something that really is going to help one of the sections that we're going to be talking about later when it comes to the large language model searching is reviews. So aftercare as well. So as soon as that patient's come from us, we can basically build an automation to trigger off like your Google review or your other review platforms, which you might have. You could do like patient reactivation as well. So we can engage or re-engage patients that haven't actually come back to the practice for like 6 to 18 months, for example, and we want to re-engage them. And obviously for an actual person to do that, to actually email, trigger off, look through the kind of consistent dates and go, when was the last time this person came to the and had a hygienist appointment, for example, we can automate that whole workflow. We could do things like emergency booking fast lane, so you can prioritize urgent leads. So depending on the inquiry that comes through the door, obviously some are more urgent than others. So you might have somebody who's more urgent who's can't get an appointment until later on in the day. So we might need to reprioritize that, and it can do stuff like that. It can do stuff like your marketing return on investment. So obviously being marketing as well, if you are doing marketing and you're spending money on things like Google ads, Facebook ads, and so forth, it can basically connect to ads and basically see what ads are actually bringing in bookings. It could do things such as treatment plan workflow follow-ups. So automatically follow up high value plans such as Invisalign or implants. And there's so many things that you can do and kind of what you can think of. We work with our partners and kind of look at what are the problems currently that you might have. Where do you want to automate? So if it saves you 3 hours a week of doing manual tasks that could be used somewhere else, we could probably automate it. We just need to understand what the current workflow is from yourselves, understand what exactly the process is from a human perspective. And then us as a team, we will basically look at how we could then automate that within kind of the systems. One thing we're looking at the moment is note taking. So obviously, when you've got a patient and you're kind of, I think it's called the SOAP notes, we're looking at how we could potentially use AI to automate that, so that it basically goes directly onto the system when you're talking. So as you're kind of talking to your nurse, for example, it will be able to track that voice and then automate all that kind of process. So there's a lots of kind of things that you can do that you can save time, save money, and kind of automate, giving you more time to be able to do other tasks. Any questions on automation? No?
No questions.
Perfect. I hope that's kind of makes you start thinking about like how you could potentially improve your kind of like processes at the moment and what you could automate, and then we can go from there. So the kind of next stage then is kind of taking things to the next level. So you've got like simple implementations such as automations, such as an AI receptionist, for example. But the next step is potentially things like custom software. So roughly speaking, say, for example, you have a multitude of different subscription models that you might be using. So say, for example, you're using a CRM, which costs you £400, £500 a month, depending on which one. You might be using another system, which is costing you X. And over time, that compounds. And you're obviously spending so much. And if you are a multi-practice owner, for example, and you've got different locations, then obviously when it comes from a CRM perspective, it could be a lot more expensive than £400-500 per month. So what we're looking to do is you can build custom software with the help of AI now in order to, one, speed up the process because it's faster than ever before now to build. Secondly, reduce down the cost of these personalized systems, because back in the day, you would have to have a developer. And yes, you still need somebody who understands how to obviously build technology. But because of the enhancements with AI, it's actually allowed us to build like MVPs within 3 to 4 weeks. So something that might have taken you 6 months, a year to build as a kind of that first protocol and kind of get you a product which works, it can take us around about 30 days now to get you to a really good point. And what I'll do in a moment is I'll show you an example of a system that I've basically built, which could be added to a website, for example. And obviously it's cost effective as well. So if you do scale your practice, you own that piece of kind of script, that software. So you can obviously use it and grow it out as well. And we can obviously partner in order to enhance that system for you if it becomes like that you need new solutions to be added onto it. But if it's effective enough for you to kind of manage and grow with it, then obviously you have that system to your own kind of bespoke needs. And that's basically what we can work with owners to do, is build bespoke products now. So what I'll do is I'll quickly just show you an example of a system that I've built. It's not the prettiest yet because basically it was mainly around functionality opposed to the look and feel. But just imagine this is kind of your website. What this does is very much like other booking systems at the moment. It basically allows you to booking onto your own system. So it lets you book in appointments and if you're a new patient or not. So let me just quickly sign in. Okay, so I've currently booked in. So what as a patient you can do is that you can go in here, you can book your own appointments, very similar to what we were talking about before, but obviously this is a bit more platform based opposed to chat based. So say for example, I'm looking for a dental implant consultation. It will basically read the data from what you input onto here. So I've got here like Dr. Sarah Johnson. It can then go in here and it can now see like what times are available. It can show me the times that are available for that person. And then you can kind of book in from there. From a admin perspective, you can then go in here and then you can start looking at which appointments have actually been booked in. So this is my appointments from a patient perspective. But what it can do then is like it can go into here and it can obviously show you like all the appointments that have been booked for the day, how much that's earned. We can integrate this with your ad campaigns as well. So if you're using Google ads or Facebook ads, for example, or kind of any of the meta ads, we can then look at kind of what I talked about earlier is like that automation workflow to see where them leads are coming in, what's being booked in, and we can kind of look at that data afterwards. And then we can produce things such as dashboards. So you have a kind of really clear picture of where money's coming from. Is it coming from Google? Is it coming organically? Is it coming from ChatGPT? Where is it coming from and what's driving people to my business, basically? So this can be built as bespoke as you want it to be. There's got like here new patient registrations. There's lots of different variations of things that we can build. And this is just something that literally I built in a couple of days just for the demo of this call. But if we really push it, we can take it as far as we really want to in order to make it more more bespoke to your own requirements. So I'm not too sure if anybody's ever thought of kind of like how you kind of want to one, integrate AI into their current websites, for example, or how they actually want to build their own systems or processes or platforms in order to enhance the patient experience or enhance a colleague experience as well. Because another thing is kind of like onboarding. So if you have like new recruits, you could build your own bespoke onboarding package. You can talk about all the compliance things that you need to do, any learning, anything that you want to do, you can basically build now with the help of AI. So it's a very exciting time. Any questions off the back of that? No? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go to the last part of the kind of presentation, and then what we'll do afterwards is we'll just kind of open the floor to Q&A and just see if anyone's got any kind of questions off the back of there. So ChatGPT has obviously over the last 2 years has really just become a daily use of a lot of people now. It's kind of, if we look at like a 5-year span of the growth period of Google, it's outperforming Google's growth 5.5 times quicker than Google did. So it's still a very early adoption stage at the moment. And Google is obviously still dominating. This is kind of like an example of all the daily searches that happen on them platforms. So Google is still dominating at 13.7 billion searches per day. Other platforms are still kind of up there, but obviously they are longer existing platforms. So naturally they've embedded a lot faster than or a lot over time. But ChatGPT and other platforms such as kind of Google's Gemini, Perplexity, and other platforms are on the rise, and it's only going to get more dominant over time. So what we've been doing is looking at how you actually get found when somebody asks the question of, I'm looking for Invisalign or any other service that you might have on a chatbot such as ChatGPT. And then how do you actually then drive data to it so that it can scrape that data to make sure that you're going to be the person who is shown. So what we can do now is quickly just do a kind of test bed of somebody on the call, if you're willing to kind of tell us your business details, and we can see like if you actually come up in ChatGPT. So can anybody on the call kind of just tell me like what location your business is? Is it a dental practice? Is it whereabouts are you?
Yeah, Lagos, Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yes, Lagos, Nigeria, yes.
Okay. And what is it that you do? Are you currently a dental practice?
Teeth minder. Yeah, teeth minder. I work for a practice, yes.
Okay. So yeah, the hot dental.
Teeth minder dental.
Yeah, I'm not gonna search for you. I'm basically gonna see what it comes up with in respect of search in Lagos. Is it Lagos like that? So I'm spelled that wrong, but we'll correct it. What will happen here is it'll basically go, what information is it finding online in order to drive the information to ChatGPT in order to give me that recommendation. Now you might come up in here depending on how much digital footprint that you have. I'm not too sure why it hasn't loaded, but let's just load it again. Internet's just being a little bit slow. So at the moment, it's showing this dental practice as the number one. This is basically showing as the kind of main competitor in there, in that kind of area. And what it's doing is it's taking information from the website itself, as well as other sources. So this isn't just looking at website, because yes, website is going to drive certain amounts of traffic and when it comes to search. But what it'll do is that it'll also look at things like your Google reviews. It will look at comments online. It will look at social pages, YouTube pages, and everything around your content in order to then drive the search. So if I do another one, for example, somewhere more local to like, I'll just use Leeds because that's where I am. So
We have another volunteer from chat as well.
Okay, where are they?
Solihull.
Okay, Birmingham. I was there studying the other day. Give me the best. Is it a dental practice?
Aurora Dental, yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to ask for dental practice. I'll basically say where's best to give me. Where's best to go for Invisalign? Where's best to go for actually, let's change it from Invisalign. Composite. I don't know what I mean. In this soul, I whole like that. I think. Well, no, maybe not. I mean, the good thing about ChatGPT, it'll basically correct my spelling. So it's saying beyond dental. So where are you guys from? Sorry.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I got trying to put the microphone on. I accidentally kicked myself out. So we're Aurora Dental, in Solihull.
Yeah. So you can see here that beyond dental has got more information, which is bringing it up here for composite bonding as a kind of use case. So it'll be interesting to see potentially if you even come in the top 3. So it's what it's doing here is kind of showing you information to say that the website here is what's feeding this drive here to that search for composite bonding. The good thing is that you can actually search here and go, what's the sources? So you can actually see all the sources here. So you can see here, it's not just their website. You've got all these little extra parts which potentially might have spoke about this practice. So it's taking amalgamations from different sources in order to drive this. So if I go now, like who else is in top 3? So who else?
Can you have a look for Invisalign actually, please? Because that's our main kind of.
Okay.
If you're interested, if we come up for Invisalign.
I'll see if you come in the top 3 firstly, quickly, just for
thank you.
And then I'll ask about Invisalign afterwards. So so obviously we've got there Beyond, who was number 1.
Yeah.
I'm guessing their competition.
Well, yeah, they're just sort of around the corner. Blossomfield, interestingly, I don't think they do a lot of it, but they've just got, I think, the oldest websites. They do rank really well for a lot of things.
So obviously you can see in the top 3.
Yeah.
From a ChatGPT perspective. So the difference between obviously doing it over search, it's taking information, as opposed to like Google, which we do Google ads literally on a day-to-day basis for a lot of our clients, is with Google, obviously you're paying for placement. So if this was Google, for example, it would be bringing up the top 3 because I paid for that real estate.
Yes.
But from a search perspective, it's not doing that. It's actually taking it from information online, which is driving this. I did a search the other day just to kind of test this out before I did it on the call. And I put Manchester in there, and I'm not going to name obviously the practice, but it came up with a different practice who I was expecting. And then I asked the question, why did it not come up on as number 1 for the second practice? Because they did rank in the top 3. It came up as number 2. But it was because of a CQC report, which was online, which is obviously published, which then ranked them down, even though that they had higher views. So it was really interesting to see, like, what's the because you can ask the questions like, why am I not showing up on here and all the rest of it. So let's go for Invisalign then. So
that's clever.
Who is the top? I'll just say 3 for Invisalign. Let's see what they say. So Beyond's come back up again. So they're doing something really well for their.
Doing really well.
Bloomsfield again, and then this Solihull Orthodontic Centre. So this basically means to me is obviously using yourselves as an example now is we need to look at the information that you've got online. So what's actually what content's written on your website to make it more SEO friendly? What are we doing that's different to them over content wise? What else we can do in order to enhance the search? Because naturally, I think there's like statistics, I can't remember the exact numbers, so don't quote me on it, but I think there's kind of a certain percentage of the younger population now who are doing their searches via the ChatGPTs out there, because obviously that's how they engage with the internet now. And the fact that ChatGPT yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the day before, came out with their web browser extension. So you can actually implement the chat features into your web browser now. So you're not actually using this chat function to help autonomously work over the internet, and it will be doing exactly the same thing. It's going to be, if I ask it a question, it's going to be looking at where the best information is for that. So if I just go to
But that's Google have got a chat function. Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
Oh, it's basically ChatGPT are basically embedding with like Google Chrome, Safari, or the kind of web-based systems that we use. So if you look on here, for example, it's basically showing where them sources have come from. Obviously, it's talking about like My Smile here, but that's probably somewhere else. But it's kind of showing other forms of like sources, which is driving these sources to happen. So all we need to do is really is look at them sources and go, okay, how do we actually replicate that so we can come up in here and get searched and found? Obviously, I don't know what the future of ChatGPT is going to be, if they're going to start implementing ads, or if they're going to be doing something a little bit different in the future. But it kind of gives you that indication to go, okay, we really need to start thinking about this now, because eventually if somebody wants to find us, and it's free because it's not like an ad spent over Facebook or Google. So how do we rank in these kind of search terms and go from there? I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so I can kind of just see everybody.
Okay, brilliant.
That's kind of like what I wanted to kind of discuss on this call. Just kind of what I just wanted to open people's eyes up to what is possible now with AI. And this is just the very start. And we're only just scraping the surface of what we can do based off like dental practices and kind of what we specialize in as an agency. But there's obviously a lot more what it can do. So you've probably seen like content being created by AI now. So you've got things like Sora and the new model of VO3, which is Gemini's version of like video content creation. There's photography, which can be built out there. You can build your own AI influencers, which could be used for showcasing imagery over your social channels. There's so much, and it's hard to keep on top of what's actually available out there. But that's where we kind of come in as consultants. We basically work with you to say, what's your kind of current pain points? Where do you want to save money? Where do you want to improve efficiency? And then we can support you with that. Has anyone else got any questions?
No, I just want to say thank you so much. That was really cool to see actually the ChatGPT. I've never thought of, even though I use ChatGPT, never actually thought to, have a look. And I suppose you're right, that's so people are going to start looking for things, but it's really cool.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Anybody else got any questions?
My only question, Kazim, is moving forward, let's talk about price points, because ultimately that's what's important, isn't it?
Yep. It really just depends on what it is that you're looking for. So automations, depending on how complex they are, we can build for we just kind of just have one set fee. We don't do anything like monthly retainers or anything such as that. It's yours to use afterwards. And obviously if you need help afterwards adjusting that automation, then we can support with that. Same with the receptionists as well. I know there are some kind of receptionist builders out there who say it's going to be an upfront fee, then plus monthly retainers afterwards. But what we're looking to do is kind of empower you guys, because we're wanting you to just take that kind of receptionist and run with it. And if you need support afterwards, we can go from there. So yeah, it just really depends on what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for like a whole suite of like bespoke packages and custom software to be built, then obviously that's going to be a bit more expensive because it takes a lot more time. Receptionists, depending on what system and how complicated it is to integrate with your CRM, if you have one, that's a lot more complicated to build than somebody without a CRM. So it just really depends on obviously the bespoke need of what you're looking for, and then we can quote from there.
Okay.
If you are looking, I forgot to just present my last slide, which is basically just my contact details. If you are looking to have any follow-ups with us, so let me bring that back up on screen. But if you do, you can go, you can email me directly. Alternatively, you can go onto the Day 7 website, and then you can just book in a call with myself and with the team. So let me just bring my details back up here. So yeah, it's just here. So it's just hello@day7ai.ai, and then the website's day7.ai. And if you do want to speak about anything else from marketing and content creation, obviously we can cover that with the other agency, which is Unscripted. But obviously the point of this call is kind of looking at the AI automation side of things. Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time on a Thursday evening. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and hopefully we speak soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
No worries. Bye-bye. Stop the record.